There's a really good reason why I don't believe in the war on terror. For one, you can't fight terror with terror, which is what war is. So that just in itself is stupid. But beyond that, if you go back to the history of this country, there's a lot of sort of cloudiness about the fact that there's a high amount of racism across the board, really. That's maybe the only reason they can say they're not racist in America is because they hate everyone equally. They're elitist. That's really the way that it's structured. So, for one reason or another, elitists have essentially full control of the United States through the capitalist structure because of the fact that they're very good at accumulating power because they really have, those are the people with the highest amount of insecurity are the ones that have the highest drive to accumulate power. So you have these highly insecure, highly powerful people that gain a huge amount of influence. They create the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, from its very inception, creates chaos, uh, and they use it as a weapon of war. They go to World War One because there's a lot of strife in Germany. Well, guess what? They could have easily solved that prior to going to war, but war is profitable. So we went to war, and we eventually, the Allies beat Germany. World War II happens, and we step in. And the really incredible thing about World War II is it was being funded by the United States. There were U.S. corporations that, without them, the war efforts of Germany would have never been possible. And they received special privileges to continue trading with Germany, even though Germany was in a state of war with the United States. Because, again, it was profitable. Anytime at wartime, valuable things become more valuable, right? Just the basic commodities become a lot more valuable. So you can sell things at a higher rate. So you can throttle the economy and make a bunch of money by making weapons and guns that once there's no war, they don't really have any use. So it's like a disposable product. And then you can charge way more for commodities because at that point people need them to survive, because that's the nature of war. If people are out away from their home, they need resources to be delivered to them. So that's the way that our economy is structured, in this like resource delivery system from like a supply chain, so that we can move in a continuous direction rather than cycling like we would naturally with the rest of the universe. After World War II, like dropped the atomic bomb, and we started opening up military facilities all over the planet and arming them with nuclear weapons and building the most advanced military in the world. And so you look at Korea, we go to war with Korea, can't win. It probably reminds us a little bit of a frustrating reminder, I imagine, of England and us fighting for independence. Small force, far less trained, far less advanced military that was able to withstand the continued assault for years of a far more powerful nation. So they didn't like that, so they kept the line. They're like, whatever, you can have that, but we're keeping this. It's so childish. And then Vietnam, people are opposed to Vietnam from the beginning, especially because of the fact that it was a drafted war. They were forced to go to war to fight communism because the communists wanted to gather up all the resources and distribute them according to how they saw fit. And the capitalists wanted to gather up all the resources and not distribute them at all because it's mine. Uh, So we can't have that. They can't have any more allies. That the Russians are going to go in there. They're going to beat them up and they're going to bully them around and they're going to be the superior force and they're going to take over. So we used that logic and we said, "See, watch." And we decided that we were going to be the superior force, and we fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. We started that fight. Well, he didn't win. That was a real black eye. And then I guess they decided at that point, they're like, hey, we're not very good at fighting real people that have like a cause. We need to figure out how to fight people that don't have a cause. And they said, we're going to use people's addictions. Because, in the United States, people spend a lot of time seeking entertainment, seeking to, like, get away from their life. They're always wanting to go on vacation or seeking distraction in some way or another. So, an addiction is a habit that's repeated for the purpose of seeking pleasure beyond the point of being healthy, which you could use for a lot of things, which is why it's such a wide topic. So they use drugs. And the really great thing about drugs is because they can form a powerful addiction, they can form a powerful escape from a reality that is otherwise unbearable, and they can be targeted, you see, because they're a chemical, they have to be inside the body. So all they have to do is get people to be in an environment with a lot of drugs that are also miserable, and then they'll find that as an escape, like flypaper, right? And then they can use the flypaper and pick them all up, and then they can throw them away. And you might ask, what does that have to do with anything? Well, the CIA has special permission to smuggle drugs, and also has been caught smuggling billions of dollars worth of illicit drugs into America. Well, oddly enough, they end up in the cities with the highest poverty, because that's where the people are the most miserable and the ones that are most wanting to escape from reality. And then they use a special police force, the DEA, to target individuals and put these people in prison. And so when you talk about things like racial profiling and the police shooting down people in the street, that's what I see. I see a war on drugs. I see a war on escape. I see a war on people trying to get away from the war. And so they shoot deserters, right, in an all-out war, but they can't just start shooting people in the street, right? They have to have a reason. Well, that's like a form of desertion. Because we all know that deserters are dangerous people. You know, they break apart the military mind of an organization. They break the uniformity of control. So that gets to the point where there's so many people doing drugs, so many people trying to escape from reality, the rules don't even make sense anymore, because people start noticing. They're like, hey, wait a minute. I kind of think everybody's doing drugs. Why are only some of these people getting punished for it? And all of a sudden, they had to have a new enemy. Someone that was scary, like a drug addict, that was addicted to hurting themselves and other people, but worse, a terrorist. Someone that was literally addicted to hurting other people. Oh my God. Who are these people and where do they come from? Well, they happen to be well funded, organized, and believe it or not, have all kinds of weapons that come from the United States and also from other countries that are working in cooperation with the United States. So what does that exactly mean when the war on drugs is only a war because the government made it illegal, and it's only a problem because they started shipping it in, because they were making billions of dollars enforcing it, billions of dollars making it, and billions of dollars selling it? Because it's a profit, right? Isn't that the point? So if they rose the stock share of America, is it worth it? Profit, right? That's why they're here. Isn't that why we're all here? Profit. Make profit anyway, anyhow. I don't think so. I think it's a silly way to live. But it's just my thought.